Please, 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 please tell me that ending means what I think it means. Please tell me that this is confirmation. It's not 100%, but you guys already know what I'm talking about, dude. My boy, motherfucking Hide, dude. Yo, if this means what I think it means, this is an indication that Hide is alive. And granted, knowing Ishida, you know, we're not going to find out whether it's true or not for quite some time. And it very well could be just trolling. It very well could be that Eto sent this herself. Alright? It could very well be that Eto sent it herself. It could very well be, I mean, the only other person that could potentially have a signed copy of the Handman's MacGuffin with Kaneki's name in it would have been Hinami. I don't know where Hinami's at this chapter. In all honesty, I would have wished that we got some information on that, right? Maybe they just sent her to Koklia. Maybe they sent Hinami to Koklia, which is fucked up, right? But if you guys remember correctly, okay? And we're going to get into the chapter. Just give me a second, because for those of you that don't know, Hide is one of my top 5 characters in Tokyo Ghoul. Hide is that shit. Go back to my very first Tokyo Ghoul, review ever. I'm pretty sure Hide is a major focus in that shit. But anyway, I digress. If you guys remember correctly, during Takatsuki's book signing, Hide went right after Kaneki and Hinami, impersonating Kaneki, and I believe he got a signed copy with Kaneki's name in it. Okay? He was the only one that had that copy. He was the only one that got signed like that, as far as I remember. I need to go back after this review and check. So don't, I may be mistaken. So don't come in here trying to bash me for false information. I'm just saying, this is what I remember. I'm going to go back and confirm, and we can talk about it, right? But this signed copy being sent to Kaneki for his birthday, okay? Hide. That's all I can say. If Hide sent this and he's alive, then when I think about it too, I go back to the time Toko was at the hospital. And I'm like, what if she was visiting Hide? Right? That's all. Let's dive into the chapter, and then we can talk about that a little bit more after, alright? Tokyo Ghoul Re, chapter 31.5. I like the style that I've adapted, over the course of the auction, where we go in depth, page by page, and study, the chapter and review it that way. So I'm gonna keep that up for at least for now. First thing, that color page. And this chapter is very straightforward, very simple, but there are some revelations that like that Uda stuff at the end, dude. We're gonna get into it. But that color page, dude. Ishida, man, coming with the based illustration. It's been a while, dude. That shit is sexy. It's so fucking creepy, though. Young white hair. The symbolism alone is crazy. But I love Ishida's art style when he has the color palettes and stuff going like that, dude. It's so fucking creepy. It's so beast. I just was staring at it for a minute, right? But let's get into the chapter. Basically, the breadth of the chapter is, post-auction, the queues and everyone are relaxing. It seems to be Christmas time. They're, Sasaki's throwing a Christmas party for the CCG, and he invited a bunch of people over. That's basically the majority of the chapter, right? But there's a lot of intricacies that we can get and garner, and it's just nice to see, everybody kind of kick back, be in a more relaxed mindset than they were in the fucking craziness that was going on in the auction, right? I wanted more of kind of, information as to what's taking place in a broader scale after this, but we'll get there. Ishida will get there. So let's dive in, okay? Psycho, I fucking love you, Psycho. I just can't, she's just, singing, just decorating. She's like, jingle baby, jingle baby. She's like, my man, Sasaki, we need more lights on this tree. I'm like, oh my god, she's amazing, dude. She's fucking incredible, dude. The dialogue between her and Shirazu this chapter, too, just fucking hilarious, dude. Fucking hilarious. So we got that, right? Sasaki basically invited a bunch of people over. Before we get there, I like to see the maintained kind of dynamic between Mitsuki and Urie. Fuck Urie still. I don't give a shit about him, in all honesty. I feel like he slowly might be changing through Mitsuki, though. And that's a good thing. That's honestly a good thing. Ever since she was comforting him and broke him free from that rage that he was in, and they were saved from fucking Mr. Big Madam, okay? I feel as though Mitsuki's gonna be the key to breaking through Urie's shell and having him, realize that you can't be a selfish prick, okay? You just can't. She's like, no, Sasaki said we gotta spend the day together. Here, get the shit on this list, Uri. He's like pissed off and whatnot, complaining. I like to see that dynamic is being maintained and that Mitsuki is actually actively looking out for Uri like that. Like, that's why I love Mitsuki, dude. This is why I love her, because for her to go out of her way to really try and open this guy up when he's just an utter asshole who could have got her killed, okay? She's a fucking saint, dude. She's amazing, alright? Then we got, Kuroiwa and Kuramoto come through, you know, the two dudes from the Hirako squad. I love the jokes about, you know, Sasaki being like, yo, is it true that you just twisted a ghoul's head off and everything? Just like the little, like, banter, the side banter, especially with the ARIMA thing that I'll get to in a second about, you know, crucial CCG moments that we've seen in the past. So it's interesting to have that as well, right? You see Kuramoto playing games with Saiko and everything. They got that Xbox One on deck and everything like that. It's funny. It was just a nice, kind of more relaxed, less tension, just kind of easing out of it. That's why I think it's not even, you know, an official chapter 32. I think that's why Ishida dubbed it 31.5, to have it kind of be this intermission, this kind of reprieve after the intensity of the auction arc, right? So we got that. Hanbi comes through with Juzo. Juzo's still on that trick-or-treat shit, trying to get candy from Sasaki whenever he can. What else? Shimaguchi didn't come through. I mean, I didn't expect I don't want Shimaguchi to come through. When I saw Arima there, though, and everybody's surprised to see Arima there, I was like, dude, this is a nice little party to exchange some little war stories and whatnot. You got Uri pissed off, like I said, trying to go find the shit. I really don't care about him, man. I'm sorry. Like, I'm trying to realize that there could be positive development for Uri in the future, but I don't think it's ever gonna wash the bad taste out of my mouth that he's left, dude. He's fucking. I can't do it. Alright. Then they're basically talking about how they're gonna get promotions after the, you know, the award ceremony and everything like that. Uri looks mad pleased with himself in the corner. Saiko's like, oh yeah, we get higher pay and shit like that, right? But ultimately, as they're discussing, they're like, it's not necessarily a good thing because you can get tasked with all these higher level operations. Shit's gonna go crazy, right? The best part about this meal, though, dude, is when they're like talking about this Arima rumor. And they're like, is it true that you killed a ghoul with an umbrella instead of using your Quinky Ixa? Is that true? And I'm like, what the fuck? Arima? I mean, I believe it because even in Jack, I've seen Arima do some crazy things, okay? So I believe it. But the way he just so nonchalantly is like, no, it's not true. You know, Ixa was in the shop, and there just so happened to be an umbrella there, so, put two to two. I was like, Arima, the god, dude. They're talking about stories about how ghouls just bow before him and just, like, tape me to Kokila before, he even goes in on them. I'm like, I believe it. And just to see that kind of, it's that workplace banter, but this world is so dark and serious and twisted and warped that to see it just this kind of hilarity and humor around it and them just talking about it casually and having a good time, I'm just like, damn, this is actually pretty like, it's nice. It's nice to see, even though it's not hype or anything like that, Then Sasaki gets gifts. Now let's dive into what I want to talk about. He gets them gifts and everything. Gets the eye patch from Mitsuki, the bike for Shirazu, a game for Saiko, Uri some headphones. You could have not gotten Uri a gift. Gets Arima and Akira some joints. Now, what I want to talk about, there's two things. Uta and Yomo, Toka, and, Nishiki and their conversation over at Ri and Teku. And then the internal monologue of Sasaki. So it seems like Sasaki is not fully aware of Kaneki. He's trying to dig deeper and deeper into what, the persona is that's lurking inside him. He wants more information about him. He's like, he was a human, who had a ghoul's body. He's like Serpent, Yotsume, which is Hinami. He's like, he had many ghoul friends. He's like, was he getting by? Like, was he an enemy of the CCG? He's trying to, save this self that's inside him. We even see young Whitehair in a little panel once again. And he's like, he's trying to think about how to spell his name and everything like that. So it stands to reason that I was under the impression that Sasaki kind of envisioned Kaneki a little bit better than even the information that he has. And it makes sense because he has no memories of his past self at all. And it's not like the Arima or anybody like that is going to tell him that much about Kaneki to begin with, right? And it's not like they really know that much about Kaneki, to be honest, to begin with. So if he really wants to investigate Kaneki, aside from this shit that happens at the end, he's going to have to talk to, like, Hinami or something like that. He's going to have to talk to Hide, potentially, something like that. But that's neither here nor there. it was interesting to see that. And then he's like, I wonder what that person is doing today, right? And I believe that he was thinking about Toka, because then it automatically cuts over to them at Rie and Teiku, and he's like, on a date maybe? And I'm like, yo. So that's really interesting. There's a lot of stuff to read in between the lines there. But what I really have to get to is Uta, because this whole time I've been waiting for Renji and Uta to talk. I've been waiting. I was like, I didn't realize. Now I'm starting to understand Uta's mindset even more, and that's why I've always loved him. People want to be like, Uta's a prick. Yeah, Pierrot's fiendish. Yeah, they fucked up a lot of things behind the scenes, but it seems like there's more to him. We're starting to get like a quick glimpse into what's going to unravel into the depths of what Pierrot's true goal endgame is and what their goal is. We find out that, you know, Uta's not leading this faction. There's someone above him. There's a boss. Renji's aware that he's part of Pierrot. So that shit was very interesting for me to see. I was just like, holy shit. I've been waiting for some clarification on this. And to see that everybody's aware of it. And Uta's like, you know, I met Kaneki. He hasn't changed and everything like that. And Renji's like, Uta, what are they thinking? What do they want with Kaneki? And he's like, I wonder, I also don't know much about the boss, is what Uta says. So Renji has been aware of Uta's dealings in Pierrot this whole time. But I wonder how much he and Toka actually know about what Pierrot has caused in the events of part 1 of this series. And how, you know, his role potentially, or just Pierrot's role in a broader scale. But it was his faction, that it was Sota and the people in his faction that were running this scheme with Kaneki, right? So it's good to say he was aware of it the whole time. I wasn't there aware of it to that extent. But either way, it shows that there's somebody above Uta at this point that's controlling Pierrot. And if you think about the brief collaboration between Aogiri and Pierrot, which really can't be said to be an actual alliance in any way, shape, or form, to me, it honestly looked like Aogiri was just trying to use the distraction of Pierrot being there to get the fuck out. But ultimately, there could be some link there. Maybe Ezo's involved. Maybe Kano's involved. Maybe Organization V is involved. Because most of Pierrot in its origin was fucking exterminated back in the past. So I wonder, you know, how large this faction is and who's at the head of it. So that gets me thinking about that. And then, you know, Uta asked them, what do you guys want me to do? So clearly, Uta, I don't know if this is a facade. I don't know if he's playing them. But I'm really interested right now, because this is something I've been waiting for, and to see this dynamic, I just want more of Uta's mind right now. That's what I really want, and to get insight into which side is the true face of No Face, dude, because Uta is one of my second favorite characters in the series, but that's neither here nor there, right? Toka replies, I'm just going to continue to do what I decided to do, and everybody's fine with that answer, and it just gets me thinking about what they're trying to do right now and where they're trying to go with everything. I know they're looking out for Kaneki at the end of the day, especially Toka, but I wonder what their end game is and what their motive is and what they're trying to do, how they're trying to interact with the different powers at play in this world. So we'll see how that goes, right? Then you have, you know, the fucking mask. Kaneki's fucking mask gets delivered by HYSY, so Uta sends him over a gift. And Uta does say, no matter what, before he leaves, that he is one, you know, I still think of him, to me, he's a special customer. So he clearly has some sort of feeling in some way or another for Kaneki. But that's neither here nor there. He sends in the mask, gets it, that's going to start jogging pieces of his memory. You see the young Kaneki in that panel, and the young white hair looking off in the distance when they're talking about, you know, him and Mitsuki are discussing it and whatnot. And then, of course, he gets the letter with the happy birthday and the book signed by Takatsuki. Now, Takatsuki could have signed another copy for him and sent it over, but the copy that he got signed to Ken Kaneki, Hide had that. Hide got that done. So I want to truly believe, especially if it's a birthday gift, the one man that would never forget to get Kaneki a birthday gift, Hide. And if this is any indication, and even still, the subtle thing that this does is he knows how to spell Kaneki now, because he was thinking about that. Sasaki was thinking about that. This is going to be the catalyst to start the wheels turning to finding, you know, his true self and trying to protect, you know, the inner persona that is Kaneki, and that's his end game right now. That's his goal. That's what he's trying to accomplish and trying to find more about his path. He's no longer running from it. He realizes that, you know, the person inside of him is just as scared as he is about losing themselves, and he wants to help him. That was the resolution of everything that took place before, and he's doing it low-key. So if this is Hide, what better person than to do that? But I still want to know what's going on with the the resolution of the auction as a whole. Some of the other characters that were over there. I want to know where Hinami's at, if she's at Kokli, or what the fuck is going on with Hinami. I'm trying to get into the Amon stuff because that shit is crazy. But that's neither here nor there, Let me know your thoughts on this chapter. I thought it was quite good, quite nice to get, after all this tension, all this crazy shit going down week after week, just a more chill chapter of Re. So that's pretty much it. Let me know your thoughts, and I'm out. Peace.